Hi guys, CBS here, long time no see. Thought I'd just do a catch up with some stuff I've purchased recently and some comics which I sent to CGC to be graded that I've now got back. So about the beginning of March, I took 6 comics to CGC office in London for them to send off to be graded, and I'll show you those at the end of the video. Last week they came back, so I went up to London to meet a friend. On the way I collected the comics and also popped into Gosh Comics in Soho, which is now the only decent comic shop left in central London. The comic shop in Camden has been taken over by Forbidden Planet, so it's now a replica of Forbidden Planet in Oxford, in Tottenham Court Road, which is fine if you like Funko Pops and figures and stuff, but for comics, old comics, it's non-existent. It's all modern stuff. So when I went to Gosh Comics, yet again I bought some more Batman comics to keep my run going. So we got Batman 518, quite a nice copy there. This is a good one. This is Batman 517. Also got 516. As you see, it's a bit of a run in here. Another good comic, another good cover. That's a Jones cover. Really good. I've got Batman 414. A later one, Grant Morrison story, Lee Garbett drawings, Batman 683. See a more modern looking one there. And the last one I got was another one, Mark Bagley drawings, Judd Winnick writing, Batman 689. Right, so they're the ones I bought at Gosh Comics, and because Gosh Comics appears to have taken over some of the previous stock of the other shop, they had a lot more sort of bronze, copper and later modern stuff in there, so quite a good selection. I've been there a couple of times before, but when I've gone before it's been a weekend and it's been absolutely manic. So if you go into Gosh Comics, you go in the top half, it's trade paperbacks, graphic novels. You go downstairs and they've got all the older stuff. They've got some wall books, and they had quite a good selection. So I didn't have a lot of time. I had about 15 minutes to go in there. So I thought, well, I saw Batman. I'll get some Batman right stuff that I haven't got. Right. Oh, sorry, I missed one. I thought I had them all. There's another one here. Wait a second. Another Batman one, number 680. Another Tony Daniel cover. Say Tony Daniel art, Grant Morrison writing. Okay, next comic I'm going to show you is one I've got, well, arrived a few days ago. It's myself and my wife's 20th anniversary, wedding anniversary this year, and we decided to treat ourselves by spending a certain amount of money on each other. So I've got my wife a diamond ring, and I've got 2 comics coming, well, 2 comics. The first one's come, and the second one will be coming from America, so it'll be on my Stackery delivery. Now, the one I've got, which has come, is part of my X-Men run, Uncanny X-Men run. It leaves me now with about 29 issues to get. And this is a key one, number 94, X-Men 94. So there's a bit of glare there. Which is, of course, the new X-Men Begin. So the new X-Men started in Giant X-Men number 1. This is the first issue of Uncanny X-Men with the new team in it. It's the second appearance of Nightwing, Storm, Thunderbird and Colossus. Lee Vine and Chris Claremont story, Dave Cockrum and Bob McLeod art, Jill Kane and Dave Cockrum cover. And it's got Count Nefaria on the front there. 7.0, lovely book. And there's the back cover as well. So that was part of it. I've got another comic coming, which I'll do in a future video, which is the other one. So that's part of my 20th wedding anniversary present. Right, so as I said at the beginning of this video, I sent 6 comics to CGC, a mixture of comics I've had for quite a few years, and one which I bought at the London Comic Mart last October. So if you were with me then, there's a couple of people I know with me then, you'll recognise this comic. So the first one I'm going to show you is Tales of Suspense number 98. As a classic Captain America Black Panther cover, fighting cover, which is it's a Whiplash Black Panther and Nick Fury appearance with a letter from Bob Gale in it as well. I'm not sure who Bob Gale is, but he obviously was quite important at the time. Stan Lee's story, Gene Colan and Joe Sinnott art, Jack Kirby and Frank Giacoia cover and art. A classic cover, a 6.5, quite happy with that. Bought that in a collection I bought a few years ago from a lady. So I'm quite happy with that one. Nice cover, and there's the back as well. The usual back cover, if you know 1960s Marvel, it always has the same cover, which is of art classes. We're looking for more people who like to draw, says Norman Rockwell, the famous American artist. So that's on, if you look at most American Marvel 60s comics, they have the same advert on them. So that's the first one of the 6 I sent. I have no idea what grade these. Well, one comic I knew, I had a fair idea what grade it was, because when I bought it, it had a grade on it. The rest of them I had no idea. So quite happy with that one. And the next one is X-Men number 9. Now, I knew, because I sent all these comics off to be graded by John Lacey at Comic Press. He actually did come back and tell me this was missing the centre pages. So, I say last page is missing, not centre page, last page is missing. Which is a shame, but it's still a great book to have. It's because it's got the centre pages missing, it's a green qualified cover. X-Men number 9, the first meeting of the X-Men and the Avengers, and it's a 3.5 Stan Lee story, Jack Kirby and Chick Stone cover and art. First meeting of the X-Men and the Avengers, first appearance of Lucifer and Marvel Girl pinup. So it's a good quality book, another part of my X-Men collection. This one actually is obviously pre-Norman Rockwell, because this one has got me a Hypnotise advert on the back. So that's a bit different. This is a very early book. This is 1965, January 1965. But still quite happy till it's qualified. Still, it protects it. I've had it, for a few years, and I wanted to get it graded. So I'm still pretty happy with that. Right, the next book is another X-Men book, but this one has been signed. This is one of my signed books, and this has been triple signed. So now CGC will authenticate the autographs under JSA, a company called JSA. They'll authenticate the autographs. So this one is X-Men number 57. Now this has been signed by Tom Palmer, who was the inker, Roy Thomas, who wrote the story, and Neil Adams, the famous artist at the bottom there. You probably just better see it in silver. Neil Adams' signature. He signed it. So he drew it, the cover and the art. So he just did the cover. Actually, he did the cover art, Neil Adams. I had this signed by all 3 of them at the London Super Comic Con. I think it was about 2014. And now at CGC are doing authentications of the signatures. I thought send it in and get it preserved, because it's it's not going to be worth saying, but also nice to have as a preserved copy. It's the first appearance of Larry Trask. If you know Larry Trask, he's the guy who created the Sentinels. It's Sentinels appearance and Marvel Girl featurette. And as it says here, if you see at the top there, it says it's got signed, seems to have been verified for those 3 people. 6.0, quite happy with that. Yet again, John Lacey. John Lacey's done, all these books are sent to John Lacey, these 6 comics, for cleaning and pressing, and he does a really good job, so I'm quite happy with that. So I've had this comic, well, over 10, probably about 11 or 12 years at least. Had it signed in 2014, I bought it before then, so I've had it about 12, 13 years, so I'm quite happy with that. I leave that one till last. The next one is X-Men, another X-Men, the one number 64. Right, this one's just been signed by Tom Palmer. Another one, verified signature, Tom Palmer. It'll be at the same Comic Con. I had all these signed at the same Comic Con, London Super Comic Con. 5.0, X-Men 64. First appearance of Sunfire, Shiro Yoshida, who is his character here. He was in, if you know the X-Men cartoons and films and that, he does appear in those. It's a Roy Thomas story, Don Heck, Tom Palmer art, and Sal Buscema and Tom Palmer cover. So Tom Palmer actually did the cover of this. He didn't do the inking this time, he actually did the cover. Another lovely comic to have, and I say I'm quite happy with that. I've yet again had that 12, about 13, 14 years at least, perhaps longer. So it's been preserved. And of course all these books are in the 60s. This one was 1970. The previous one was 69, so they're late 60s, early 70s comics. The last one is another triple signed comic, same one, Neil Adams, Tom Palmer, Roy Thomas, verified again, and it's X-Men number 59. Yeah, again this was signed, same thing, signed at the Comic Con. Grade is actually a 3.5, not as high. Still good to have as it is. A Roy Thomas story, Neil Adams, Tom Palmer art, Neil Adams cover. Yeah, again, you got Neil Adams there, Tom Palmer, and Roy Thomas there. And it's plot assist by Chris. This is a plot assist by Chris Claremont, who, if you know X-Men, he later on was the main artist. He did about, I think, over 200 issues of writing stories of X-Men. British guy, lived in America, and this is a plot assist. So this must be one of the early comics that he actually got involved with for the X-Men. It's got Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Toad, and Sentinel appearances. Great cover with Cyclops on the top, on the front there. And this one's got another different back cover actually. It's got Need Some Extra Money, and it's a selling idea. Okay, now the last comic is the one which I actually bought at the London Comic Mart. There's a couple of friends of mine, my daughter and one of my friends were there with me, James, and I paid £145 for this comic, and it was a 4 point. I got it was a 5 graded a 5.5, and I wanted to get it. Slabbed and officially graded. I say I graded it as 5.5. The sellers, I say, yeah, again, I sent it over to John Lacey at Comic Press, and it's come back as a 7.0. Batman 189, and that is the first appearance, Silver Age appearance of the Scarecrow. Silver Age is from about 1955 to about 1969-70. This comic is February 1967. Garden Fox story, Sheldon Moldorf and Joe Giella art, Carmen Infantino and Joe Giella cover. First Silver Age appearance of Scarecrow, Jonathan Crane, who is the Scarecrow you probably know from the movies, and different incarnations. Cillian Murphy, the latest one, I believe. Great cover. I've read the comic. To be honest, the story is very 1960s, a bit twee. So that's another reason I thought, well, I'll get it graded, because I've read it. I'm not going to read it again, so I'll get it graded. I'll say it was a 5.5. I bought it as, upgraded it now to a 7.0, which is really good, and that's obviously increased the value a bit as well. So I'm quite happy with that. At the back of this one, we've got build these Aurora hobby kits of your favourite TV shows. You see the Batmobile there for Batman. What else we got? We've got a Backplane, Zorro, Captain America. So these are all kits that you could build. I know they'd be pretty good at the time, I guess, in late 60s. I would like to have some of those. I have to check to see if you can still get any of those on second hand. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's what my latest update of purchases and gradings. Probably looking to do another grading later this year. I've got a few other comics I want to get graded. Yet again, a couple that signed. So anyway, hope you enjoy this video. See you soon. CBS signing out.